Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanobhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Please accept humble obeisances. This is Radha Pyari Devi Dasi from Baltimore, welcoming all of you to Bhakti Sanga Conference Call. I thank you all of you for attending this session. Please forgive me for interrupting your ecstatic chanting. I would like to read the 10 offenses to the holy names which are to be avoided, written by Srila Vasudev in the Padma Purana. 1. To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. 2. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu. 3. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. 4. The blasphemy the Vedic scriptures or scriptures in pursuance to the Vedic version. 5. To consider the glories of the chanting Hare Krishna to be an imagination. 6. To give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. 7. To commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as footy activities, karma kanda. 9. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. 10. To not have the complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to achieve the desired success. Krishna Prema. Once again, I thank everyone for joining the Bhakti Conference Call today. Let us move to our next section, which is Srimad Bhagavatam. May I know who all have joined the call this morning? Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण राधा प्यारी माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गुरु महाराज की जय की दासी फ्रॉम शार्लोट हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna, Preethi Mataji. Please accept humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Krishna Radha Pyari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Vinita Gandharvika Devi Dasi from College Station, Texas. And a small announcement again, Mataji. Yesterday also we announced Revati Mataji's brother. His name is Balaji and he's fighting with stage 4 cancer. So please kindly requesting all of the devotees to pray for Revati's Mataji's brother. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Vinta Gandharva Mataji. Dandavat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Pyari Mataji, all glories to the Prabhupada and Guru Maharajas. My humble obeisances to you and all the devotees. This is Krishna Kumari Devi Dasi from Nala. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Kumari Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Radha Pyari Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. My humble obeisances to all the assembled devotees, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Sundarangi Radha Devi Dasi from Canada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Sundarangi Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining the call. Hare Krishna. Is there anybody else would like to introduce yourself? Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhakti Sanga Conference Call. Today we are fortunate to have Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Matajji to enlighten us on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, 15th chapter, verse 12 and 13 onwards. First, I would like to hand over call to Vinta Gandharva Mataji for brief introduction of Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji. Please hand over call Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Her Grace Preethi Vilasini Matajji did her chemical engineering MS from Ramaya Institute of Technology, Bangalore, Masters in Anna University, and later studied environmental engineering at the University of Houston. She got married to a wonderful Vaishnava, His Grace Srinivas Jagannath Prabhu, after getting introduced to Krishna consciousness around 2009. She took initiation from His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj in 2015. She is an exemplary devotee, a great scholar, and has in-depth knowledge of Shastras, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. She is an eloquent speaker, and the way she narrates various stories from scriptures feels like grandma narrating stories. She narrates pastimes in a sweet voice with so much expression and enthusiasm that makes the listener envision them in front of their eyes. She is one of the main administrators of Bhakti Sanga Japa group, which is a virtual temple for many devotees. Her dedication, sincerity, and management skills, along with a humble attitude, is an inspiration for many devotees, and it has taken this Bhakti Sanga Japa group to great heights. She has served in the Houston, Atlanta, Bay Area, and Chicago temple in various capacities. She conducts several classes in various forums and inspires many devotees in their path of Krishna consciousness. She's a great cook too. We are very fortunate to have her on the call today on this Srimad Bhagavatam class. Over to you, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, is Mataji here?
Yes, Mataji. Bhakti Sangha, that's Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Matajji, please accept my humble obeisances. Our glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for giving your valuable time and association to us this morning and enlightening on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam. Welcome to Mataji Bhakti Sanga Conference Call. Hare Krishna. I would like to hand over call to Mataji. Thank you so much. After a long time, I'm seeing Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody. It's a great fortune to be on Bhakti Sangha in the early morning session, speaking Srimad Bhagavatam. And thank you, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Thank you, Radha Pyari Mataji, for giving this very nice opportunity and having me on the call. Before we get started, I would like to offer very sincere prayers to Balaji Prabhu, who is the brother of Revati Mataji, who is a very sincere attendee of Bhakti Sangha. He's fighting stage 4 cancer. We request all the devotees to sincerely pray for him in this very critical stage. It is quite serious, so I request prayers, and whatever extra benefits we may be getting out of these sessions, we would like to dedicate for his recovery and attract Krishna's mercy. So he can be blessed and he'll be able to serve Krishna in various ways in this body itself. So prayers for Prabhuji, and we will get started. Om Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. My humble obeisances to all the Vaishnavas on the call. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Please bless me so that I may be able to speak a few relevant words related to the verse, and please Srila Prabhupada. We'll get started. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, and I think we have to first share the verse, right? Okay, sorry for that. Let's share the verse first. So, Mataji, it is 7, 5, 12, and 13, right?
15, Mataji. 7, 15, 12, and 13.
12 and 13. Naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki krishnaya vasudevaya devaki nandanaya cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 15, 12. Vidharmaha paradharmascha abhasa upamachala adharma shaka panchemna dharmagnyo adharmavatyajet. Vidharmaha, irreligion, paradharma, religious principles practiced by others, cha and abhasa, pretentious religious principles, upama, principles that appear religious but are not, chalaha, a cheating religion, adharma shakha, which are different branches of irreligion, pancha, 5, imaha, these, dharmagnya, one who's aware of religious principles, adharmavat, accepting them as religious, tyajet, to give up. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. There are 5 branches of irreligion, appropriately known as irreligion, vidharma, religious principles for which one is unfit, paradharma, pretentious religion, abhasa, analogical religion, upadharma, and cheating religion, shaladharma. One who's aware of real religious life must abandon these 5 as irreligious. What are the 5 that are irreligious? It is vidharma, paradharma, abhasa, upadharma, and chaladharma. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Any religious principles opposed to the principle of surrendering to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna are to be considered religious principles of irregularity, which is vidharma or cheating. And one who's actually interested in religion must give them up. One should simply follow the instructions of Krishna and surrender unto him. To do this, of course, one needs very good intelligence, which may be awakened after many, many births through good association with the devotees and the practice of Krishna consciousness. Everything but the principle of religion recommended by Krishna, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, should be given up as irreligion. It's a very nice, crisp purport, very instructive to all of us. Anything other than surrendering to Krishna is considered irreligion. Any sort of other religions is considered irreligion. Now, the next verse is a continuation of the same thing. The next verse is going to elaborate more on vidharma, Paradharma, Abhasa, Upadharma, and Chaladharma, which are all considered irreligion. So they are connected, hence we will read the next verse also. Dharmabhado vidharma syat, paradharmo anya choditah, upadharmastu pakhando, dhambo va shabda bhichala. Dharmabhadaha, that means that which obstructs the execution of one's own religious principles. This is what? This is vidharma, against the principles of religion. Syat should be paradharma, imitating religious systems for which one is unfit. Anyachoditaha, which is introduced by someone else. Upadharma, concocted religious principles. Tu, indeed, pakhandaha, by who is against the principles of Vedas and standard scriptures. Dhambaha, who is falsely proud. Va, or shabdabhit, a word jugglery. Chalaha, a cheating religious system. Translation: religious principles that obstruct one from following his own religion is called as vidharma. Religious principles introduced by others is called paradharma. A new type of religion created by one who is falsely proud and who opposes the principles of Vedas is called as upadharma or upamadharma. And interpretation by one's jugglery words is called as chaladharma. So these are the different varieties of adharma or vidharma, and we will discuss that in great detail in a few minutes. Purport: to create a new type of dharma has become fashionable in this age. So-called swamis and yogis support that one may follow any type of religious system according to one's choice, because all systems are ultimately the same. In Srimad Bhagavatam, however, such fashionable ideas are called as vidharma because they go against one's own religious system. The real religious system is described by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. The real religious system is that of surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. In the 6th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the connection with Ajamin's deliverance, Yamaraj says, Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Real religion is that which is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just as real law is that which is given by the government. No one can manufacture actual law at home, nor can one manufacture actual religion. Elsewhere it is said, Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshaje. The real religious system is that which leads one to become a devotee of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, anything opposed to this religious system of progressive Krishna consciousness is called as vidharma, paradharma, upadharma, or chaladharma. Misinterpretation of Bhagavad Gita is chaladharma. When Krishna directly says something and some rascal interprets it to mean something different, this is chaladharma, a religious system of cheating or shabdabhit, a jugglery of words. One should be extremely careful to avoid these various types of cheating religious systems. So this is very beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada, as strong as possible. Prabhupada is rejecting vidharma. So we will share a PowerPoint presentation to understand Prabhupada's purport better. So we have seen the definition of a few terms. These are all varieties of irreligion, or also called as vidharma. And we will analyze that in detail, and we will focus on what real dharma is, and we'll try to see how to develop that true dharma. So that will be the presentation for today. This is Srimad Bhagavatam 7, 15, 12, and 13. So I will make it a little interactive so we all can wake up after our beautiful morning chanting. My question to everyone is, what is your definition of dharma? What do you think dharma is? You can just say one word answers in English. Yes, Vasundhara Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranams. Dharma has many meanings. One of them is religion, one of them is duty, one of the intrinsic nature of the object or the human being. It can mean any of this, and many more are there, Mataji. These are the few things I can relate.
Very nice, Mataji. You covered everything. Anyway, but still we will. So the answer she has given is religion, duty, and intrinsic nature. Very nice. Thank you. Vinita Gandharvika, Mataji.
Mataji, rules that have given by the Lord.
Yes, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Yes, the rules that has been laid out by the Lord. Very nice. Yes. And who's the other one? Let's see. Someone else raised hand.
Parambhavani.
Parambhavani.
Mataji Jivera Swarupa Hai Krishna Nitya Das.
Wow, here comes our PhD scholar, huh? Not only PhD in material science, but also PhD in Chaitanya Leela. So she says, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Parampavani. Yes, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Nitya Krishna. I mean, Krishnera Nitya Das means our eternal principle, our eternal religion is that we are the servants of the Lord. I think the class is over. All of you have defined Dharma and everybody knows what ultimate Dharma is. But still, to fill out time, we will see what Prabhupada has written and we'll try to analyze the Vidharma and also focus on Dharma, the definition that you all gave. Prabhupada gives two analogies actually in his purports. He gives the analogy of salt and the analogy of water. He asks, what is the Dharma of salt? What is the Dharma of salt? Does salt have Dharma? Anyone wants to answer what is the Dharma of salt?
Being
Yeah, to
salty.
taste salty.
Correct, to taste salty. Yes, salt also has Dharma. The Dharma of salt is to be salty. What is the Dharma of water?
To flow.
To flow, liquidity, to flow. Very nice. So everything has an intrinsic property, like Vasundhara Mataji was telling. So let's analyze the word dharma. The Sanskrit word dharma comes from the root dhr, which means to support or to sustain, to uphold. That which sustains itself is called as dharma. This is another definition of dharma. Okay. So for salt, what is it that sustains salt? The saltiness. What is it that sustains water? The liquidity. So that which supports, sustains, or upholds, that is called as dharma because it comes from the root word dhr. Now, Prabhupada has given so many definitions in multiple translations and purports, and this is a quick collection, and this collection is actually covering all that you said. All of you gave different definitions. All that is covered in this collection. So Prabhupada says dharma means intrinsic property that we have already discussed. Yes, one of you said intrinsic nature or intrinsic characteristic. Dharma means characteristic. Dharma is a characteristic that cannot be changed. Can you change saltiness from salt? It's not possible. Dharma means natural instinct. Whatever is natural, whatever is the natural property. Dharma means engagement. Now, duty. One of you said duty. So, dharma means the natural engagement. Dharma means which you cannot change. You cannot separate that quality. Dharma means natural occupation. Dharma is duty. Dharma is your religious conduct. Right? Dharma means occupational duties. Again, another word of natural occupation. Dharma means duty. Dharma is not a kind of faith, Prabhupada says. Don't think it's a faith. It's naturally there. Like she said, Jivera Swarapoi Krishna Natyadas is there inside. It's a natural quality. Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Krishna has given it, right? Vinita Mataji said. So it is naturally there. Dharma means the orders given by the Supreme Lord. This is actually Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Krishna has given the order and we're just following it. That is the order of the Supreme Lord. Dharma means constitutional position. So in various ways, Srila Prabhupada has given the definition of Dharma. So by now, we know what Dharma is. We have some idea of what Dharma is. And we also understand the topmost Dharma because we read Srila Prabhupada's purport and we also had a brainstorm now. So we know what is topmost dharma. But what is my dharma? I think you already answered, but still, let's ask, what is the dharma of a devotee? What would be the ultimate dharma of a devotee? You already answered it, but say it again.
To serve Lord Krishna.
Serve Lord Krishna, yes. Nitya Das, that is our constitutional position. What do you think is the dharma of Krishna? Tricky question.
To protect Dharma and to annihilate irreligion.
Yes, to protect us, right? Mercy. Mercy is a natural characteristic of Krishna. He's always there to protect his devotee. That's why you see this beautiful picture where Krishna is touching Srila Prabhupada's forehead and giving him protection. So Krishna is always there for his devotees, always reciprocating that love. We have that intrinsic property to love Krishna. We are the servant of Krishna, and Krishna has that intrinsic property to reciprocate with us. So it's a very beautiful, this bhakti is such a beautiful thing, right? There is a nice mutual relationship between God and his devotee. So protection, mercy, that is the natural characteristic of Krishna. You can never separate that from Krishna. So a person who surrenders, Krishna always protects. Okay, now let's see what adharma or vidharma is. So again, I'll read the translation because the translation already has the definitions. So it's a good idea to read the translation again, then elaborate on the definition. There are 5 branches of a religion appropriately known as, the first branch itself is known as a religion or vidharma. And then the next one is religious principles for which one is unfit, which is paradharma. One is unfit means you're not actually, you don't have to do that religious principle. It's someone else's religious principle, which is not appropriate for you. That is called as para. Para means someone else. Paradharma. Pretentious religion, abhas. You've all heard about this name, word abhas, because you all finished just 6th canto, right? In 6th canto, we saw about abhas chanting. Harinam, abhas. Who did abhas chanting?
Ajamila?
Ajamila. And he perfected his life. But here we have pretentious religion, abhas dharma. This is a little different. Anyway, analogical religion or upadharma. Upama means almost there. Okay, it is like something that is trying to be equivalent, but it is not. That is analogical religion. And cheating religion, chala dharma. This is quite clear. One who is aware of real religious life must abandon these 5 as irreligious. Really, again, Bhagavatam itself is clarifying in greater detail what these 5 branches are. Religious principles that obstructs one from following his own religion are called as vidharma. If you're doing some practice that is actually obstructing you from being doing the right thing, okay, from being just, from being righteous, if something is obstructing you from being righteous, that is called as vidharma. Religious principles introduced by others is called as paradharma. Someone else has introduced to you, it is not appropriate for you. You cannot practice it. That is called as paradharma. A new type of religion created by one who is falsely proud and who opposes the principles of Vedas is called as upadharma or upamadharma. That means it is introduced, it is somewhat similar to the Vedic principles, but it is not in accord with the Vedic principles. Okay. And interpretation by one's own jugglery words is called as chaladharma. This is pure cheating. There is something given in scripture and you are cheating. Okay, you are giving your own interpretation. Prabhupada gets really angry when he sees such interpretations. So this is called as cheating religion upfront. So again, we are going to do each of these in detail and analyze that. Okay. Our first one is vidharma. Dharma bhado vidharma. That principle that obstructs one from following one's own true dharma is called as vidharma. Dharma bhada. You know what is bhadaka, right? To obstruct or to stop. So dharma bhado iti vidharma. That is the meaning of vidharma. Like you have vidharma is like vikarma. You all know karma, vikarma when you study Bhagavad Gita, right? So there is karma, there is akarma, and there is vikarma. What is vikarma? Anyone remembers from Bhagavad Gita what is vikarma?
Performing duties or actions that are not approved in the Vedic injunctions.
And it's going, yes, correct. And it's going to bring about bad results for you, right? Similarly, vidharma. So vidharma, you can easily relate. The root word vi is actually anti, right? Anti-dharma. That's what Prabhupada says. Vidharma means anti. Anti-occupational duty. These are Prabhupada's words I'm reading. Ultimately, our occupational duty is to serve Krishna. Anything which does not help me in serving Krishna, if we give it up, and anything which helps me to serve Krishna, if we accept, in that way, if we live, then gradually we become situated in our original constitutional position as eternal servant of God. So that which is obstructing, that which is not good for you, that which is bringing about bad results, not sanctioned in the Vedas, that is called as vidharma. Otherwise, it can also be translated. This is Chakravarti Path's translation. He says, Vidharma means that which cancels one dharma when performed, though he's thinking it's dharma. Can you give some examples of vidharma? Meaning something that is obstructing your natural dharma. Some quality that you develop that obstructs you following proper dharma.
Being envious.
Yeah, yes, very nice. Being envious, yes, very nice. So like that, there are many examples. Even following regulative principles and so many things, right? So all that is aiding our practice of dharma. But when we start following, having these bad inclinations, like she said, envy, then it is vidharma. It is obstructing my practice of dharma. Okay, that is clear. Now, second one is paradharma. This is easy because basically paradharma means it is someone else's religious practice meant for someone else, but you are following it. Religious principles for which one is unfit. Okay. Now, here, this paradharma, we are not talking about the topmost religious principle, which is being a devotee of the Lord. We are not talking about that. Here, we are talking about religious principles, that is our swadharma, the practice of our own dharmas. We all have swadharmas, religious principles or duties. We are talking about that. Okay. So, paradharma means religious principle for which one is unfit. For example, you all know, okay, we'll ask that as an example later. There are so many people who have done dharma, tried to practice dharma that is not suitable for them. So I will ask that example at the end. Okay. Now, this religious principle could also be something that is introduced by others to you. It is not acceptable for you, but somehow it was introduced by other to you. Now, we should be very careful to read this as paradharma. It is not paradharma because paradharma or parahadharma means topmost dharma. So sometimes we read paradharma and paradharma to be the same. No, they are opposites actually. Paradharma means something that was introduced by someone that is not fitting you. But paradharma means that which is topmost. Like for example, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna talks about para prakriti and apara prakriti. Right? What is para prakriti? He says this para prakriti, this higher energy of mine is trying to lord over the lower energy of mine. The jiva and the prakriti, he talks about that, right? He says that this para prakriti, there is another energy of mind that is lording over this material energy. There you see the word usage as para, or we say, the famous verse, Prabhupada also quoted in the purport, Savai pumsam parodharmo yatho bhakti radhokshaje ahaituki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. So this is it's a very, very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is spoken during the 6 questions of the sages of Naimisharanya. That time, Sutta Goswami, he says that the topmost religious principle, paradharma or parodharma, is yatho bhaktir adhokshaje, serving adhokshaja. That is the topmost bhakti. So we should be careful to differentiate between paradharma and paradharma. Okay. Prabhupada has also quoted this verse in the purport, saying that everyone's eternal occupation is service to Krishna, pleasing adhokshaja. So that is our paradharma. Now, Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, in 2 places, he has mentioned about paradharma. That means another person's religion. So where does he say that? He says that in 18.47 and in 3.35. The danger of accepting paradharma. There is very good benefit accepting parodharma, that is topmost. But there is danger in accepting paradharma. So he says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha paradharmat swanushthithat swabhavan niyatam karma kurvan napnoti kilbisham. He also says, Shreyan swadharmo vigunaha. See, the first line is the same. Second line also is the same. Paradharmat swanushthithat swadharme nidhanam shreya paradharmo bhayavaha. So let's see the translation for both. Krishna says, it is better to engage in one's own occupation, even though one may perform it imperfectly, than to accept another's occupation and perform it perfectly. Duties prescribed according to one's nature are never affected by sinful reactions. This is 18.47, and in 3.35 he says, it is far better to discharge one's prescribed duties, even though faultily, than another's duties perfectly. Destruction in the course of performing one's duty is better than engaging in another's duty, for to follow another's path is very dangerous. So basically, you follow your duty, don't artificially try to imitate another's duty. I think it will ring an example in your mind. Very soon we will come to those examples. Materially prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition, says Prabhupada. One may ask, okay, what is enjoined for me and what is enjoined for the other? That is these, duties of Swadharma. So materially prescribed duties are duties enjoined according to one's psychophysical condition, according to your guna and karma, under the spell of the modes of material nature. Spiritual duties are as ordered by the spiritual master for transcendental service of Krishna. So Prabhupada is telling material duties are according to psychophysical condition. So you take the material duty that is allotted to you, but then there is a spiritual duty that is common for everyone. What is that spiritual duty? That is ordered by the spiritual master for the transcendental service of Krishna. So this is common for everyone, and this is parodharma. Spiritual duty is parodharma, while material duty is something that is allotted for you. If you follow someone else's duty, like Krishna says, paradharmo, here he uses the word paradharmo. In this verse also he uses the word paradharma swanushtitat. He uses the word paradharma. That paradharma is someone else's duty. Okay, but whether material or spiritual, one should stick to the prescribed duties even up to death, rather than imitate another's prescribed duties. Now, does this ring an example in your mind? Someone wanted to follow Paradharma? Yes, Vasundhara Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. When it comes to those following the Varna system, like the Varnas of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas, and Shudras, the Vedic injunctions clearly prescribe the duties for each of this Varna and Ashrama also. So, while Krishna was instructing Arjuna, and Arjuna says that I don't mind Krishna, I don't want this kingdom, but I better go for begging. But Krishna says you are a Kshatriya. Begging is a prescribed duty for a Brahmana, not for a Kshatriya. For a Kshatriya, fighting is one of the prescribed duties to protect the religious principles. So, in this way, you're attracting sinful reactions by taking up the duties prescribed for a different Varna, A. B. Also, you are also going to attract sins because you're not going to engage in the prescribed duties as a Kshatriya. So this is what I understand, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, very nice. That is the example, perfect example of Arjuna failing to do his, he didn't fail. He was trying to argue with Krishna that he wants to take up something else. He was a Kshatriya, he was in the battlefield, he was a soldier, he was supposed to fight, but he said, no, I'll go and beg. Is he going to be a good beggar? He's going to create a fight there among all the beggars. But then Krishna had to enlighten him. Don't do paradharma, do your own dharma. Thank you, Vasundhara Mataji. You said that very nicely, very clear. Next, Abhasa Dharma. You see, Bhakti Charu Maharaji says this about Abhas Dharma. He says, you see a tree near a pond, it has a reflection, and you see the reflection in water. The tree has real fruits. Can you pick the fruits from the reflection? So this dharma, this Abhas Dharma is like a shadow religion. It has no real fruits. It appears like real religion, but it has no real fruits. And I thought that was a beautiful analogy. Okay, now let's see what Abhasa is. Abhasa means pretension. It's not going to yield you big results, positive results, because it is only a pretension. A pretentious religious system manufactured by one who willfully neglects the prescribed duties of his order is called as Abhasa Dharma, a dim reflection or a false similarity. This is superb actually, because Chakravarti Pad, he comes and he says, you know what Abhas Dharma is? He says, concocting some form of Devata and worshipping it by one's own imagination. It was very interesting. Recently, I saw in one about temples. I was just, I like to go and visit different temples. I was just watching some reels about some temples. And there, to my shock, I found something called as the alien temple. And I was very curious what this alien temple is. How can there be a temple for an alien? And alien means what? Like, do they mean to say some extraterrestrial living entity like they show in the Hollywood movies? Or is it something that, the gods from the heavens are the aliens? Or what is their concept of alien? So I was curious and I went and saw there's really a temple. And the temple is actually somewhere underground. Like on the surface, it doesn't look like a temple, but you have to walk many steps down. And there, when you enter, you see a rock cut temple inside. Okay. And you won't believe the vigraha that is there. The vigraha that is there is like the modern alien that they show in Hollywood movies. That triangular face, greenish face, and then has a kind of a thin torso and long arms. That kind of alien with those huge eyes like that go like that. So that kind of alien was worshipped in a temple. And there is on the opposite side of that vigraha, there is a sage who's flying. Okay, a sage. He's flying like this. And when you inquire how come this temple has come, they tell you that somebody had a dream that sage Agastya came flying and he said, build a temple for this alien. And these aliens are like our gods. No, this is abhasa, this is imagination. There is no question of any alien. If you build a temple for a demigod, it's a different story. You build a temple for Ganesh, Shakti, or Subramanya, whatever, that's all fine. But then that's a part of the Vedic tradition. But then here you have an alien and he's worshipped as a devta. Where on earth did he become a devta? So these are all imaginations. And then even many years ago also we had temple for some freedom fighters. They don't need temples. Temples for an actress. So all this is abhas. This is extreme cases of abhas, not even an acceptable case of abhas. Extreme cases of abhas, we can say. This word abhas also comes in the term rasabhas. This is very commonly heard of in our Bhakti scriptures. We know how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was in Jagannath Puri, Swarup Damodar used to filter, his secretary used to filter all the poetries that would be presented in front of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. There was one person who was mixing the rasas. He was describing the beauty of Jagannath, but he had a very impersonalistic attitude. He was telling that Jagannath is a lifeless stone. So that is rasabhas, because you're trying to beautify. You're making a poetry where you're describing the beauty of the form of the Lord. You're comparing it to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all this is happening. At the same time, there is so much abhas. There's no proper understanding, and you're telling Jagannath is a lifeless stone. So it was rejected, and Swarup Damodar was very unhappy, and he rejected such kind of poetry to be presented in front of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there also we see the term abhas. Because Nama Bas you all said about our Ajaman. But Nama Bas is somehow very merciful. Huh? Nam Prabhu is always very merciful. Even Abhas Nam was accepted as okay. What was the Abhas he was doing? He was calling out to his son. But the name Narayan, that has potency. So he was delivered. He had a second chance rather. And eventually he was delivered when he chanted purely. So this abhas is basically a dim reflection. Can you think of any dharma abhas other than what I mentioned, this alien temple? Can you think of anything else? Anybody?
I heard even there are some communities, Mataji, who also worship Ravana. And they have some temples and they worship him as a deity, is what I've heard. And there are some temples in India as well as in Sri Lanka also. Of course, in Sri Lanka, they kind of, they attribute to the Ravana's worship or devotion towards Lord Shiva. But in India, in some place, I don't know, I remember maybe in Madhya Pradesh or something, there is a temple for Ravana,
Yes.
and there is a small group of people who worship him as a deity. I mean, it was surprising. So people are like ignorant, right? Who to worship, the object of worship, they really do not know that knowledge. So this is something I thought might relate to this, Mataji.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. Thank you so much for that input. Yes, that's true. Parampavani Mataji.
Mataji, Last time in Chaitanya Bhagavat class, one Prabhuji was telling that people have imagined Santoshi Mata and worshipping Mata.
That is another Ravas. Yes, even I remember that class. Yes, correct, Mataji. Yeah. So like that, these are all dharmas.
Mataji, is it some of the groups in what do you call Vrindavan and else places also? What is that? Upper Sampradaya groups, right? Wherein they wouldn't even understand the real knowledge of how to worship Krishna. They themselves pose and take the dress of Radha and Krishna, and kind of relate their pastimes. This is how Krishna Radha do, but they really do not even understand the basic fundamentals, but they just get on to that particular subject of Rasa Leela and take up to and then enact those pastimes. Maybe that could also relate to this Abhasa
Yes,
Dharma,
ma'am.
Mataji.
It can. Yes, you're right.
Hare Krishna.
That's a good example. The next one is Upadharma or Upamadharma. So it's called as analogical relation, meaning you're giving an analogy. Okay, God is all good. God is love. God is light. All this is analogical relation. It's very common today, right? All around the world, we say, oh, love is God, God is love, God is light, God is this, God is that. No, but God is Krishna, right? So when we give such upamas, it's called as upama religion. So a new type of religion that is created by one who's falsely proud and who opposes the principles of Vedas is called as Upadharma. It is basically concocted religious principles. So these principles, they only appear to be religious, but they are truly not religious. They only appear. It's an appearance. In religious principles, there must be God in the center. Otherwise, simple moral instructions are merely sub-religious principles, generally known as Upadharma or nearness to religious principles. And the example given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is that he says Upama Dharma refers to pretenders who actually reject the Vedas, like the Pakandis, and they dress up with matted locks and ashes and announce themselves as upholders of Dharma. Somebody in the Srimad Bhagavatam did this. He did Upama Dharma. Anybody knows there is a pastime in the 4th canto. He was the originator of this, of the Pakandis. Anyone remembers?
That goat head. Is that
King
what?
Vena?
I mean,
King
the-
Vena, is it Vena?
Oh,
No, you're getting close. He's a...
Mataji, even Buddhism also relates to very, very
Yes.
similar philosophy, Mataji. Of course, Buddha appeared with a different kind of what do you call agenda in mind. But the thing is, the followers continue to follow the same principles, but that was not the way Buddha actually wanted to reject the Vedas, right? Because of the time, circumstances, place at that point of time. Violence committed on animals, even the so-called caste brahmanas, right? So he had to kind of reincarnate as Buddha and then reject the Vedas to uphold the principles of violence being committed to the animals. So that can also be part of the Super Dharma also.
Yes, correct. You're right.
Hare
You're right.
Krishna.
Even I was thinking initially of it.
Like when Indra came to Prithvi Maharaj.
Yes. Who said this? I wanted that example.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Oh, Indu. Okay. Yeah, when Indra came, he was the one who dressed as a Pakandi. He dressed up with matted locks and he went and stole the horse. Remember that pastime, Prithu Maharaj's pastime?
Prithu Maharaj.
Yeah. So that is Pakandi Vesha. And of course, even I thought of Buddha. The minute I saw this definition, I was thinking of Buddha. Yes, this principle, he's taking out God out of the equation and preaching Shunyavad, right? So again, here you take out the actual God out of the equation and you say God is some substance, God is some emotion, God is some light. So all this is Upama Dharma. Okay, very nice. Chala Dharma, final one. Oh, we are still doing religion. When will we do religion? We have half an hour left. Okay, Chala Dharma. Chala Dharma means very clear cheating religion. So when Krishna directly, Prabhupada, his words are so clear. He says, what is cheating religion? When Krishna says something and some rascal interprets it to mean something different, that is Chala Dharma. That means a religious system of cheating or Shabda Bhit, a jugglery of words. One should be extremely careful to avoid these types of cheating systems of irreligion. cheating systems of religion. For instance, in the phrase, this is so nice. Again, Chakravarti Pad gives this example for Chala Dharma. Prabhupada said, jugglery of words, Shabdabhit. He's changing the words. Krishna is telling surrender unto me. He's telling surrender unto the person in me. Something like that. That is cheating religious system. Here we have our Chakravarti Pad giving some insights. He says, for instance, think about the phrase, one should feed at least 10 brahmanas. And how are the Chaladharmas people interpreting it? They are interpreting it to mean one should feed less than 10 brahmanas. When it says at least, they take only the least and they say you can feed less than 10 brahmanas. Okay. And another version is Shabdabhrit. A person who maintains the word of dharma only but acts otherwise. If there is an injunction to give a cow, then just to maintain that word, this person will give a dying cow. He doesn't really want to give a good cow. He doesn't want to give a cow, but then he's thinking, oh, Shastra says I have to give a cow. Okay, I'll give something. I'll compromise. I will give a dying cow. But, there is a story in the Upanishads that when a person was doing this, I think the story of Uddalaka comes in the Upanishads. His father was giving a dying cow and the boy said, no, you can't do that. That is Chala Dharma. So you have to give a healthy cow. So these are all cheating religions. There is something you want. It's like either you completely don't adhere to it, you change it, you change the meaning, or if there is a meaning, you're trying to minimize the actual purport of that meaning and you're trying to give something close to it. And you cheat. Like this dying cow, or when Shastra says one should feed at least 10, you are telling that one should feed less than 10. So these are all Chala Dharma. Now Sridhara Swami has a whole level of what he defines as Chala Dharma, and Srila Prabhupada talks about it. And where does this come? This comes in the very famous verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the second verse of Bhagavatam, Dharma projita kaitavo atra paramo nirmatsaranam satam vedhyam vastavam atra vastu shivatam tapatrayon moolanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni krite kim vaparayirishvarah sadyo hridyavarudyate atra kritibhi sushrushrubhi takshanat. Famous verse, second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about how Srimad Bhagavatam kicks out all the cheating religions. Remember that? It talks about here, Atravas Dharma Projita Kaitava. Kaitava Dharma. Kaitava Dharma is identified as Chala Dharma. And interestingly, Sridhara Swami, when he gives his comments on Kaitava, he calls it Chala Dharma, and he says Chala Dharma means cheating, and he says anything going after dharma, artha, kama, and even moksha is cheating religion. And that's why he says the Srimad Bhagavatam is so beautiful that it upholds only love of God. He picks out everything, including this moksha vancha. That is even desire for moksha. Everything is kicked out as cheating. Now here comes our Srimad Bhagavatam's verdict. What is Srimad Bhagavatam telling us? It is telling everything is cheating religion. What is true religion? What is true religion? Simply we want Krishna. We want to worship him. That's all. Never mind. That is real dharma. Yadho bhaktir adhokshaje. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yatho bhaktir adhokshaje. So true religion is that paro dharma, topmost, para dharma. That is Sar adhokshaja. Do bhakti towards adhokshaja. So we are only interested in Bhagavat Upasana. That is the real dharma. The rest is only cheating. This is the verdict of Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is our goal, right? We spoke about Swadharma or materialistic religious principles. This is also called as Varnashrama Dharma. But one should not be stuck with Varnashram Dharma. One should move on. One should move on to Sanatana Dharma. If you see in the 7th canto, chapter 11, verse number 2, all of us must have attended that class. In that class, there was a definition of Varnashrama Dharma and Sanatana Dharma right in Srimad Bhagavatam. In Srimad Bhagavatam itself, the definition of Sanatana Dharma is given. What is the definition of Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana Dharma means that which is eternal. What is the eternal constitutional principle for every living entity? It is service to Krishna. So Sanatana Dharma means devotional service. The word Sanatana refers to that which is eternal, that which does not change. It continues in all circumstances. We have several times explained what the eternal occupation duty of the living being. Indeed, it is explained by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. You all gave the answers in the beginning of the class itself, but we are coming to the crux of the class now. So this is our topmost religious principle. The real occupational duty of everyone is Sanatana Dharma. People ask, what is the name of your religion? We say Sanatana Dharma. But do they really even understand what is Sanatana Dharma? Or is it just a word, fancy word for Hinduism? No. Sanatana Dharma means eternal religion that is there in the heart, which is the being the servant of Krishna. But people get confused between Varnashram Dharma and Sanatana Dharma. What is Varnashram Dharma? Varnashram Dharma is the material principles of 4 divisions of society and the 4 divisions of spiritual advancement, meaning the Varna and the Ashrama. Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasi. This is called as Varnashrama Dharma. We want to advance from following this material religiosity to something that is higher, to Sanatana Dharma. This is given in Srimad Bhagavatam. In the entry verse itself, in the second verse itself, Bhagavatam boldly said, I kick out all the Chala Dharma. And during the in the second chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, because the sages of Naimisharanya were coming from all different backgrounds, there were many people who were very attached to Varnashrama Dharma. So during the conversation in the very second chapter, Sutta Goswami, he says these 2 beautiful verses. I remember in our Bhakti Sanga, Sukhsagari Mataji used to have these shloka recital sessions, and she taught us these 2 verses. So here are these 2 verses. Atapumbhir dvijashreshta varnashrama vibhagashaha swanushtithasya dharmasya samsiddhir haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is therefore concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging the duties prescribed for one's own occupation according to the caste, divisions, and orders of life is to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. The highest perfection, even if you're doing your swadharma, according to your Varna and Ashram, what is the highest perfection of performing your Swadharma? You should do your Swadharma in a way that you can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Dharma swanushtitaha pumsam vishvaksena kathasuya notpadayet yatiratim shramayevahi kevalam. If you are only attached to the occupational duties according to your position and you are not awakening the love of God, it is only useless labor. The occupational activities a man performs according to his own position are only so much useless labor if they do not provoke attraction for the message of the personality of Godhead. Notpadayet yati ratim. If it doesn't have utpatti of rati for the Supreme Lord, Vishvaksena kathasuyaha. If you're not having rati to hear the glorious pastimes of Vishvaksena, then, and you're not developing rati in your heart, it is shrama evahi kevalam. What is the use of this dharma swanushtitaha for all the people? What is the use of following this dharma, regulative principles, if you are not able to awaken that love for hearing Krishna Katha? So that is what the verdict of Bhagavatam is as well. And to expand on this further, you all know this very famous instance of Yudhishthir Maharaj, who celebrated as Dharmaraj, right? His father is Dharmaraj. Sometimes even he is also called as Dharma because he was Dharma personified. He was very righteous. We are talking about Swadharma, the Sadharan Dharma, the regular Dharma. He was very, very righteous. He never lied and he followed a very nice, righteous life, right? So he was Dharma personified. Now, Yudhishthir, in his life, we see this, turning point in his life when after the war, he was blaming himself. He was thinking, oh, because of me, so many people died. And he went on a guilt ride. He kept on blaming himself. So many people were trying to convince him, it's okay, it's not your fault, and so on. Even Krishna tried to convince him, but he was not ready to listen. Then Krishna told him, you go and hear from Bhishma Dev. right? So he goes and hears about various dharmas, about Rajaniti. He hears about dharma of of an ordinary person. He hears about the Stri dharma. He hears about so many different kinds of dharma. And then finally he had a few questions to Bhishma Dev. What were the questions he asked? Famous. Everybody knows this. Kimekam daivatam loke, kim vyapekam parayanam, sthuvantakam karmachan prapnayur manavashupam. Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavata paramo matah, kim japan muchyate jantu janma samsara bhantanat. All of you who have heard Vishnu Sahasranam, you must have heard about this introduction. Actually, he asks 6 questions. In that, the 5th and the 6th question is what we are going to focus. He asks Bhishma Dev, Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavata paramo mataha. What is the greatest of all dharmas? I heard so many different dharmas. Now you tell me what is the greatest of all dharmas. Kim japan muchyate jantuhu janma samsara bandhanat. Doing the japa of whom can creatures go beyond this bandhan of the samsara? How can they go beyond this bandhana? And answer to 5 and 6 was given by Bhishma. He says, Anadhi nidhanam Vishnu sarvaloka maheshwaram lokadhyaksham stuvanityam sarva dukkhadigo bhavet. So he said the greatest of all dharma is Vishnu himself. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Again, coming back to what Prabhupada wrote. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. Vishnu himself is the greatest of all dharma. He has no beginning, no end. He's the supreme lord of the world. And what is the Kim Japan Muchyate Jantur? Whose names should you keep chanting? One who chants the names of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Specifically here, the context is Sahasranam. So when you chant the names of Vishnu, then you can go beyond bondage of samsara and you can extinguish all the sorrows of this world. So you see the effect of the holy name, and we also see what is the topmost dharma. Just samsiddhir haritoshanam. Everything is for the Supreme Lord. Now here he had to understand this practically, our Yudhishthir Maharaj. You all know Yudhishthir Maharaj was Dharmaraj. He was the son of Dharma. He was also celebrated as Dharma personified. He had followed material righteousness to the perfection. Okay, he would never lie. But the same Yudhishthir Maharaj had to practically learn Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. That topmost dharma is not all these dharmas that we are following. Okay, the topmost dharma is service to Krishna, or listening to what Krishna is telling, or understanding dharma is given by Krishna, so follow Krishna's order. He had to learn it the hard way. How did he learn it the hard way? You all know the story of how to kill Dronacharya. There was a plan that was made by Krishna. Krishna told Bhima, you go and hit this elephant by the name Ashwathama, and then he called Yudhishthir Maharaj and asked Yudhishthir Maharaj to go and tell Ashwathama Hataha Kunjara. Okay, so actually he wanted him to tell Ashwathama Hataha. Okay, Ashwathama is killed, that's all. But then Yudhishthir Maharaj, who is the great upholder of truth, he didn't want to lie. He didn't want to say Ashwathama Hataha in front of Dronacharya. Ashwathama is Dronacharya's son, and Ashwathama Hataha means Ashwathama died, right? So he didn't want to tell untruth at all in his life. So he said, no, this dharma is very important. I cannot speak untruth. But because he didn't listen to the orders of the Lord, he hesitated. Of course, eventually he goes and tells, and when he says Kunjara, the elephant, and that's when conch shells are blown, and then that Kunjara is masked, and there is a lot of story that happens. But the point is, he hesitated. When Krishna says something, you have to follow it. What did Arjun do? When Arjun also wanted to run away, right? We just saw about adharmas, paradharma. Arjun also wanted to run away. But then Krishna said, no, Arjun, you have to fight. Arjun followed. But here, our Dharmaraj, he was so attached to that material religiosity that he did not want to listen to Krishna, but he listened. But there was a lot of hesitation. Because he had that hesitation, what happened? Prabhupada says in purport, he says, these are words of Prabhupada, he says, indeed, Maharaj Yudhishthir was obliged to see hell because of a slight deviation from devotional service to the Lord. Therefore, dushswapna, bad dreams, occur because of sinful activities. I'll read the whole thing. Just like Maharaj Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir Maharaj became very moral. He was a very moral person. Krishna advised him in the battlefield, just go and tell Dronacharya that your son is dead. Ashwatthama Hata. He died, although his son was not dead. Because Dronacharya will not die unless he hears the news of the death of his son. He will not die. So he would not believe anyone, but Yudhishthir Maharaj is very famous and moral. So he will believe if Yudhishthir Maharaj says. Dronacharya will believe only if Yudhishthir says, because Yudhishthir is very moral. He will never lie. So Krishna said, because you are known as a person who upholds Dharma, why don't you go and lie? Krishna asked him that, you go, otherwise he will not believe anyone. But Yudhishthir Maharaj hesitated. He was thinking, how can I say lies? I am such a great dharmic person. Because he hesitated the order of the Lord. Dharmam to sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Krishna himself is dharma. We just learned that. He has learned it. I mean, later he learned it. Later he learned this from Bhishma Dev. But he had to see hell in his dreams because he actually became immoral. You don't become immoral. See, in Yudhishthira Maharaj's case, Yudhishthira Maharaj did not become immoral because he lied or he went and said, Ashwatthama Hata Kunjara. He became immoral because he did not listen to the topmost moral. He doesn't listen to the topmost person who gives moral principles. So therefore, he had to see dushswapna. In his dreams, he had to see hell. There is another version of the same story from Mahabharata that says that Yudhishthira Maharaj's chariot would never touch the earth. But because he didn't listen to Krishna, his chariot actually touched the earth. Not because he lied. People say because he lied, his chariot had to go down because he did not uphold Dharma. But the real reason that the chariot touched the earth is because he did not listen to Krishna. But Prabhupada writes differently in the purport. In one of the purports, he writes like this. Both are acceptable. Both could have happened. Chariot also could have touched. He would have also seen dreams. Okay, so this is the importance of upholding Parodharma. One more story. Let's see the time. Okay, we have time. I'll take five to 7 minutes. Okay. So one more story. This is the story of a person by the name Dharma Vyadha. Vyadha means a hunter. And the story is mentioned both in the Mahabharata as well as it is mentioned in Varaha Purana. But Dharma Vyadha's story, though it is mentioned in two different scriptures, which is Varaha Puranam and Mahabharata, the characterization is slightly different in both. In Mahabharata, this character is a butcher, and in Varaha Purana, he is more like a hunter of birds. Okay, so basically, he's doing the job of a hunter or a butcher, not a very clean job, but he's called as Dharma Vyadha. Dharma means he was a great upholder of Dharma. What kind of Dharma? We will figure it out in a minute. Okay. Not only that, not only is his name there in Varaha Purana and in Mahabharata, his name is also mentioned in the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in the Uddhava Gita section. In this verse, it's a very beautiful verse, 11, 12, 3 to 6. A list of personalities are mentioned, very great devotees. Like Vritrasur, Prahlad Maharaj, Bali, Bhadasur, Mayadhanava, Vibhishan, Sugriv, Hanuman. So many people are mentioned. And gopis of Vrindavan, of course, the wives of the Brahmanas, so many of them. And in that list, this name Dharma Vyadha also appears. And if you read the commentary there, you can go to this verse and read the purport. There, Dharma Vyadha is equated to the person who's mentioned in Varaha Purana. And a short story of his life is also mentioned. But we will quickly see the versions of Mahabharata as well as Varaha Purana and try to understand this and connect it to our conclusion. Okay, that is what we are doing. So we are nearing conclusion. Once there was a Brahmin. Brahmin turned sannyasi. He took sannyas at a young age and he went away from home. He said, okay, I'm going to perform austerities and I'm going to gain powers and I'm going to show my Brahminical power to the world. And he went away. He went and he lived in the forest. And one day, as he was performing his austerities, he was gaining more and more and more powers. One day, there was a crane that was, jumping on a tree, and that crane passed stool. according to one version. According to other versions, the crane dropped some leaves or something. Basically, it annoyed the Brahmin. Okay, so the Brahmin got very annoyed by that, and he looked at the bird with angry, scorching eyes, and the bird died. How did the bird die? Because of the austerity, because of the powers he had gained. Then he looked at the bird and he said, "How dare you disturb me? See what I can do to you." And he killed the bird and he went away. Now he went on and he would survive by taking bhiksha. He was a bhikshu. So he was going around from one place to the other begging for food. So he went to a town and there he went and stood in front of a house and he said, "Bhavati bhiksham dehi, give me some bhiksha." And a very chaste woman came out and she looked at him and she told him, "Sir, please wait for a minute. I will come." She goes inside and she was taking care of her ailing husband. She was a pativrata. Okay, she was a very chaste woman, and because of performing her dharma perfectly, Stri dharma as a wife perfectly, she had also gained a lot of powers. See, when you're very religious, when you do your material dharma very nicely, also, you gain a lot of powers. Now, what happened in the case of this Brahmin come sannyasi? He had also gained powers because he was doing his duty very nicely. And he was doing so many austerities in his Brahminical way that he gained powers. What was the lady doing? She was also performing her duty very nicely and she became very highly celebrated as a very chaste lady. Like Savitri, she was able to even send Yamaraj away and protect her husband because she was a pativrata. So like that, Satyavan Savitri, you all know that, right? A very famous story, Dharma related story. Even it comes in the Mahabharata. So anyway, this lady also was a pativrata. She tells this man to wait. She goes, attends to her ailing husband and then comes and gives him bhiksha. Now this man, the sannyasi come Brahman, he's very angry. He's like, "How dare you make me wait?" And he starts staring at her, thinking to burn her down with his anger. But then she laughs and he says, "Do you think I'm that crane where you can burn me?" And she laughs it off. And this Brahmin is very, bewildered. He's thinking, how does she know about the crane? The crane episode happened in the forest. How did this lady know about the crane? So he's very surprised and he asks her, "Who are you? How do you know? You have some clairvoyant power or what? How do you know what happened there?" And then she talks about dharma. She says, "What are you doing? In the name of following your dharma, you're only developing bad qualities. You're displaying anger, envy, hate. All this is happening because of the austerities that you're performing, but this is not really dharma." And she tells that, but whereas me staying at home, not performing all these different austerities, just by serving my husband, I have also perfected dharma. And she talks to him and he becomes enlightened at that point in time. And he asks her, how did you learn all this staying at home? Then she directs him to her guru by the name Dharma Vyada. So she says, "I learned all this from a butcher. He taught me dharma." And this Brahmin is very surprised. "What do you mean? A butcher who knows dharma? Butcher is a person who's cutting meat. What dharma can he know?" So she sends him to Mithila, where this butcher is, and his name is Dharma Vyada. So he goes into the city. He wants to find out more about this person and about the dharma. How come, this lady is so powerful? And he's very inquisitive. So he goes to Mithila and he asks around, where is the house of Vyadha? Where's the house of this butcher? And he sees the house of the butcher in a distance and he waits there because he's so hesitant because this man is cutting meat. It's so unclean and what kind of job is this? So he's just staying there and the butcher calls him from a distance, "Please come here. I know who you are. It appears that you have been sent by the chaste woman." And he's all the more surprised because he's like, there also he was surprised because he was thinking, how did this woman know about the bird in the forest? And now he comes to Mithila and this man is telling, "I know you were sent by that chaste woman." So this guy is also clairvoyant. He's like, what's happening here? And then he questions about dharma and this man gives a big lecture about dharma that has been commented even by Vaishnava Acharyas in the Mahabharata section. It's a very beautiful section on dharma. And then at the end, he asks, "How come you know so much about dharma and you're cutting meat? Isn't this profession against dharma?" And he says, "I don't kill animals. I don't eat animals. But this is a family business. This thing of selling meat is a part of our family since many, many generations. And it is my duty as a part of the Varna and Ashram that I am in to maintain the order of society. I continue to do my job without any attachment. And whatever my activities are, I always think of Krishna and offer everything to Krishna in pure dedication. So he justifies his actions. And later, this man is transformed, the Brahmin is transformed, and he realizes the value of following Dharma properly and acquiring good qualities through that process. Okay, in the Mahabharata, the story ends there. But let's switch to Varaha Puran, which is more enlightening. In the Varaha Puran, there is the story of Dharma Vyad, but the characterization is slightly different. There, Dharma Vyada is a hunter, okay, and he hunts only birds. And why is he a hunter? Because it's his family occupation. As a part of Varnashram, he does his job without attachment, but all his activities, he's constantly thinking of Krishna and he's dedicating all his activities to Krishna. He's a great devotee. He has very good qualities. He's an expert in Dharma Shastras and he knows everything. The story is a little different, where this hunter, he gives his daughter in marriage to a great sage's son. Okay, a sage who comes in the line of Markandeya, a sage who comes in the line of Mathanga Rishi, and that Mathanga Rishi's son is married to the hunter's daughter. But unfortunately, the mother-in-law was nagging the daughter-in-law too much, saying that, oh, you have no culture, you come from a hunter's family, what do you know about cleanliness, what do you know about eating habits, and so on. And later, this Dharma Vyada, the hunter Dharma Vyada, he goes to his Samanthi's house, that is the in-law's house, and he starts enlightening that lady about Dharma, and there is a big conversation on what is right and what is wrong. And he tells her, you speak like this, but are you following Dharma properly? So there is a big conversation. And at the end, the twist in the story here is that the mother-in-law is enlightened and she understands that, she's not really doing Dharma as a Brahmini properly. The Dharma Vyada, he goes away, but Dharma Vyada attains perfection. What happens in the case of Dharma Vyada? He goes to Jagannath Puri, Purushottam Kshetra, and he attains perfection and he goes back to Godhead. Now, this is very interesting. How come everybody is shocked? So there the explanation comes about his past birth. So this Dharma Vyada, in his past birth, once upon a time, he was a great sage. And he was hunted down by a king by the name Vasu. Vasu was a big Raja of Kashmir, and he was a very righteous devotee Vaishnava king. But this sage to be a deer, by mistake, he shoots an arrow and the sage dies. Now, when that sage died, he became a Brahma Rakshas and he went and acquired King Vasu in his stomach area. And he created extreme pain in the stomach area of King Vasu. And because of that extreme pain of the presence of the Brahma Rakshas in the stomach area, eventually King Vasu dies. And when he died, he chanted, because he was a Vaishnava, he chanted the name of Narayana. And King Vasu, owing to his very strong pious credits, he went to the heavenly planet for some time and he comes back and takes birth again in the land of Kashmir. Okay. This time also the Brahma Rakshas is still waiting for him. The Brahma Rakshas again goes and catches on to the stomach of this King Vasu and tells him, I am back. You are also back. I am also back. I'm not going to leave you now. And eventually, in this birth also, when this king dies, he chants the name of Pundarika, which is the name of Vishnu, and he attains perfection. He goes back to Godhead. Now, this Brahma Rakshas, hearing the name of Pundarika from this king Vasu, because of the devotee association, in his next birth, he is blessed to have a very dharmic life. King Vasu actually blesses him. In your next birth, I know you're a Brahma Rakshas, in your next birth, you will have a very dharmic life, but unfortunately, you'll be in the body of a butcher. You'll be in the body of a hunter. And still, in spite of having the profession of a hunter, you will be very dharmic and you'll be a devotee and you will also attain perfection in your next life. So that Brahma Rakshas takes birth as the Dharma Vyada, and he knows Dharma and he practices everything nicely. But unfortunately, for the sake of occupation, family occupation, he continues to stay in that particular Varna and Ashram, and still he perfects his life. Why did I tell the story? Of course, he goes to Jagannath Puri and he attains perfection. The reason I told the story is not that we should all think that being a butcher is a very dharmic job. That's not the idea. The idea that I wanted to put in here is that in whatever varna or ashram we may be doing our materialistic duties very perfectly. We may have high dharmic values also. But still, it is very important not to stop there. We should aim for parodharma, like the vyada that is described in Varaha Purana. Okay, we should aim for parodharma. We should get out of these designations, sarva upadhi vinirmuktam, right? Tat paratvena nirmalam. So get rid of these upadhis and aim for the topmost religion. Time is up. I have so much to say. Okay, very quickly, Ramanand Samvad. Ramanand Samvad, you all know that Ramanand Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they were talking, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Ramananda Rai, "Oh Ramananda Rai, please tell me one verse from scriptures that talks about the ultimate goal of life." And what did Ramanand Rai say? He said, "Lord Vishnu is worshipped by proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashram. That is the topmost duty." Now, many people, that's what they do, right? In their particular Varna, they are worshipping Vishnu. And Ramanand Rai says that is the topmost duty. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not happy. He said, "Eho bhahya, age kaha ar?" Said, "Tell more. This is all external." And then he says, "Yat karoshi yad ashnasi, karma mishra bhakti." That is topmost. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not happy. He says, no, say more. This is also external. Then he says, "Give up your occupational duties and varnashram." That is the essence of perfection. He quotes Sarva Dharman Parityacha. Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita, "Surrender unto me." Just do that. Even that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not happy. He says, "Eho bahya, age kaho ar." And then he says, okay, the highest occupational duty is that one should be Brahma Bhota Prasannatma. He should be a real jnani. But Mahaprabhu is not satisfied. And finally, he comes to the point of pure devotional service. He says pure devotional service without the touch of karma or gyan is actually the topmost. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now somewhat happy. He says, "But still, I want you to speak more." And then Ramananda Rai talks about love in different rasas, in Dhasya Ras, Sakya Ras, Vatsalya Ras, and Madhurya Ras. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is getting happier. He says, "Tell more, tell more." And then finally, he talks about Madhurya Rasa, conjugal love, that Lord Krishna is indeed captivated by that standard of love. This is the statement in Srimad Bhagavatam. Radharani's love for Krishna is topmost. He glorifies Radharani, and he glorifies beautiful verses about the relationship between Radha and Krishna. After hearing all this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is happy, and he says this is the ultimate goal of human life. What is the ultimate goal of human life? It is just not parodharma, rather it is parabhakti. So far we spoke about parodharma, topmost religious principle. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told us, don't stop with parodharma. Go on to parabhakti. Parodharma is bhakti, but not any ordinary bhakti. Develop parabhakti. Very, very beautiful. Very, very beautiful statement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Prabhupada says what parabhakti is. Parabhakti, or spontaneous love of God, is the basis of an intimate relationship with God. It is the highest stage of relationship with God. And how can you acquire this highest stage of relationship? What is the sadhana? How can we acquire parabhakti? All of us are waiting to know. I want parabhakti. Mahaprabhu has told parabhakti is the highest. How can I acquire parabhakti? How can we all acquire? The answer is there in our laptop right in front of us. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, the sages of Naimisharanya asked 6 questions. The 6th question is, Bruhi Yogeshware Krishna, Brahmanye Dharma Varmani, Swam Kashtam Adunopete, Dharma Kim Sharanam Gata. The 6th question is, where did Dharma take shelter after the departure of Krishna? Who knows the answer? Where did Dharma take shelter?
Srimad Bhagavatam.
Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita.
Srimad Bhagavatam. Very nice. So Srila Prabhupada says, if you want Parodharma, if you want Para Bhakti in that also, if you want topmost, then what you should do, you can do just by simply hearing about him. His name, form, quality, etc. Just keep hearing about it from authentic sources like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, recited by pure, unalloyed devotees. That is when you come to this platform of not only Parodharma, you can come to the platform of Para Bhakti. With that, we will end today's session. I'm sorry for going over time. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. Glories of Dharma. Very nice class, Mataji. If anybody have any questions or realization, please go ahead, devotees.
Prahalad Anand Prabhu.
Dhanvat Pranam Mataji. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Yeah. Mataji, I have a question about a very popular dharma or, religious sect which is going on, especially in the state of Gujarat, where I come from. They have very virtuous kind of religious practices, almost like our Vaishnava. They do Ekadasis and they are very sattvic people, and I agree everything. But what I don't understand is that they have put their guru as God, and that too above Lord Shri Krishna. Now, this is something which I cannot. What kind of religion or chaladharma or whatever? What could I classify them as? They are very good people. I know like that, and they are very popular. They are building even their temples in Middle East, in Muslim countries also. So this is very puzzling to me, and I was always wondering from Shastra point of view whether this is really a dharma or a chal dharma like that, because they consider Lord Krishna's position as subordinate to that guru, and that Guru Sahajanand Swami, I know he has given Panchopasana in his six apatri and all that. But it doesn't kind of. So I just wanted your opinion about if you would like to enlighten me about that. Dhanvat Pranam Mata.
Yes, I know which sect you're talking about, and yes, we have discussed this earlier. And also, I did have a conversation with one of the representatives there, and it was mind-blowing. Initially, I was thinking they are Vaishnav because externally they appear to be Vaishnav in so many ways, and then the more you probe into their philosophy, it is unbelievable. It's a concoction of some, God only knows what it is. It's so shocking, actually. The first day of conversation, I was thinking, oh, this is beautiful. They should. And they were talking about they are going to write a commentary on the Vedanta Sutras and whatnot. And I was so impressed. And then the more I spoke about their philosophy, it was such a big disappointment, actually. So initially, to me, it appeared like, okay, now you asked for a classification. So I was thinking initially it appeared like something like a Upadharma. It is a mixture of Upadharma and Abhasa Dharma, because it is a lot of imagination as well. How can you just concoct the statements of the Shastras where it is said that Narayano Paro Avyaktat and all that, and call that Narayan to be some person who came and not the original Narayan that is identified in the scriptures, and you call all the incarnations or all the manifestations and the expansions of Narayan as just Ishwaras, just as ordinary controllers under that person Narayan. So this is a religious concoction, right? So it's a combination of Abhas and Upadharma, and ultimately it's Shaladharma. Yes, you're cheating the world.
Yeah, that's right. I have to put a little personal touch in this matter. I got married to a woman in 1980, okay, and she comes from such a sampradaya, and she's very sattvic woman, everything, and everything. But it took a long time for me to convert her into real Vaishnavism, which Sri Prabhupada is. and Radha Govind Swami personally came to our house, and he was so much pleased with her cooking and everything that he spontaneously initiated her.
Haribol. What a mercy, right? Mercy.
Yeah, that's right. So that's how it happened. But thank you very much for your explanation, and I really appreciate Mata. Jai Shri Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Param Bhavani.
Hare Krishna, dear Mataji, please accept my humble obeisance. It's so beautiful class, Mataji, as always. Dear Mataji, when you told that, Yudhishthir Maharaj, because he didn't listen to Krishna like at first, and I was hesitant. He had to have a vision of hell in his dream. What about me? Like I oftentimes don't listen to Krishna, and like I don't know, in many births I didn't listen to Krishna. I'm so afraid. Happened, Mataji.
What happened? You're a very sweet devotee. You're listening to Krishna. Who said you're not listening to Krishna? So Krishna is like that loving mother. Okay, the child will make a lot of mistakes. The mother will say, "Okay, don't touch fire." Child will go and touch fire. So like that, the child will make a lot of mistakes. But the mother is constantly at the back of the child, right? The child is being taken back by Krishna again and again and again. So Krishna is there for you. We discussed Krishna's dharma as mercy, giving shelter to his devotee, right? He will take care of you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Anshu Mataji, please go ahead with your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Dandavat pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Mataji. Apparently, I joined in the middle of the class. I'm sorry about it, but I had a doubt with respect to the Samsadhir Haritoshanam slide which you had showed, saying that the goal of our life should be Samsadhir Haritoshanam. But apparently, Mataji, this people pleasing mentality and the material adjustments that we make sometimes to please people, I feel personally I happen to please people more than pleasing Krishna. So how do I balance it out, Mataji? So although I desire that Krishna should be there in the center, we are doing everything to please him, but at the end of the day I somehow feel that maybe people are more pleased than me than Krishna. So how do I redirect my thoughts, or in such a way that every time my goal should only be Samsiddhar Haritoshanam. Hare Krishna.
You're actually, unfortunately, you're asking the wrong person, because I spend all my time pleasing people. Okay, but I will tell you at least how I justify my action. That is the best I can say. At the end of the day, we want everyone to be devotees, right? That is our desire. We want everyone to love Krishna. That is pleasing to Krishna, correct? We want everyone. Now, how do we make everyone like Krishna? First of all, they should like us. Okay, we have to be nice, right? Even with the worst people, we try to be nice. We try our best. Of course, we are not nice. At least I am not nice, but I will try in various ways to please. That way, there is some connection between that person and me. Once they start liking you, for example, our superiors, okay? Somebody, say for example, a family member. First, they should like you for who you are. And once they start liking you for who you are, they will accept all that you do, right? They accept, yes, this is helping her. She is actually being a devotee is favorable. They get a favorable impression of what you do. Once they accept you, they start getting a favorable impression of what you do. So once they get a favorable impression of what you do, they want to do what you do. And then they can become a devotee. Think that way and proceed. Okay? It's okay to please people. Very good.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Is that okay? You want anything else, Mataji? Any other clarification?
No, Mataji, thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've given me altogether a new perspective, to think on, so that I can discipline myself and act in such a way that I please Krishna and indirectly please people also. And you covered it.
Yeah.
You covered it. It was a wholesome reflection. Yeah.
It takes a
Never
while.
thought.
Yeah, it takes a while. It's not instantaneous that they will start loving Krishna and Krishna will be pleased. It will take a few years, 5 years, 6 years, but it will happen. Okay.
Thank you so much for the hope-giving inspiration, Mataji. Thank you so much. Ever grateful.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, Preethi Vilasini Matajji, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful, beautiful class. Very grateful to you, Mataji. Thank you.
I'm sorry for
You were saying that that I have this question, like, God is love, God is light. Yes, even Srila Prabhupada's purport, we say that, but we say that light is Krishna. Is that right? That's what it should be. It should not just saying that God is light.
And stop there. Yes.
Yeah, stop there. But you say, yes, God is light. That light which is coming is which is actually is Krishna. Yeah.
Perfect.
God is love. Yes. How we are getting that love? That love is coming from Krishna. That's what I was thinking, Mataji. Because a lot of Srila Prabhupada's purport has this analogy of using light, love, everything, right? Sun and everything.
Very true. Very nice, Mataji. That is a good clarification for everyone as well. Thank you. And sorry, I'm extending the class so much. And I can end the call, okay? So if you have to leave.
No, Mataji, that's fine. We have time. Actually, 8 o'clock CST is the hard stop, Mataji. That's fine. You can continue.
Okay. So Shilpa Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dharma Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so very much. Thank you so very much for a beautiful class explaining about Dharma and the PowerPoint categorizing and so forth. Very nice, Mataji. So to end, I was having the same question that Mataji was asking Mataji about pleasing the people. So it's indirectly. So Krishna knows that when we are pleasing, he sees the intention on how we are pleasing. The intention is to please Krishna itself, but we have to please. And that's a beautiful answer, Mataji. So to summarize, to my consciousness, it's good to know about all these dharmas, but ultimately, if we don't know what is our swadharma, don't get too confused about to know what exactly is the swadharma, but just follow Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission and our Srila Prabhupada's 4 regulative principles and chanting. Is that?
Yes, in this time and age, we need the elevator process. Right?
Because I try to find out what is my swadharma. Yes, I'm a woman. I have to feed my family. I have to work. But how to balance? So what exactly? I have a little bit of a passion. Am I a kshatriya in that way? Or should I continue in that passion, like managerial or whatever it is? Or should I be like a brahmana going through? Or should I do business? Because every time we bring Arjuna as example there, but practically to me, how does that apply? No, I try to get hold of what exactly is my swadharma, which I don't get. So bottom line to what you are saying, don't think too much about what is your swadharma. If it is known, well and good, follow it. If not, just follow Prabhupada's principles, and then I'll get to know eventually as per my consciousness. Is that correct, Mataji?
Perfect, 100%. Our basic duties we continue to do, like as a wife, as an employee, whatever duties you have, you continue to do. That is your, today in the age of Kali, everything is mixed up, right? We don't have clarity on Varnashram. But then at least as your duties as a woman, as a mother, as a wife, as a employee of your organization, as a volunteer in the temple, whatever it may be, all your duties, please continue to do, but keep Parodharma in mind. Yeah. And actually Parabhakti in mind, because Mahaprabhu came and gave us that, which is not available easily for so many people. Only a very few fraction of the society has received this gift of Parabhakti. So we can definitely tap into it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And in that action that I'm doing, always remember Krishna, that I'm doing it to Krishna.
Like that Dharma Vyasa. He was doing it for Krishna. That was his consciousness that eventually helped him to perfect life. Right? Yeah.
Thank you so very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Krupa Maya Sita Mataji, please go ahead with the question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, excellent session, Mataji. And just I want to know that ultimately everything is to follow the Paradharma only, no, Mataji, to follow Krishna only. That. And that I want to know how to develop and how to please Krishna, Mataji. What are the things, Mataji? Yeah, in mind, I will ask Prabhupada, no? He will tell, chant. I will just speaking the chant, that is enough. That is enough. But I want to ask you, my Mataji, how all we have to please Krishna, how to love him more.
Yes, love him more, we hear about him more. So when you fall in love with a person, you want to hear about that person. I know this is like, imagine a young girl, she first thinks, she hears, oh, this person has these qualities. Oh, so nice. I want to know more about him. And then you read about him, you hear about him, you relish about his pastime. So hearing and chanting the names, hearing. Keep reading, if not reading, hearing, like you do already you're doing. You're attending all the classes, you're doing everything, Mataji. So just keep doing that, and the taste improves day by day. There is more and more taste. When the taste improves, that is when you know that you are actually advancing in this path. That's all. Simple, very simple policy. Yes. And I think all of us, right? So we just have to continue to do what we are doing.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nice class, Mataji. I understood clearly, Mataji. Very nice. So much effort you put to explain to us like that's the Mandu. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Mataji, I was just thinking how much desire you have to listen. Actually, it is the listener's capacity that makes everything nice. So it is you, it is not me. I'm just an instrument, I'm just speaking. That's all.
Thank you, Mataji. You're so humble. Thank you, Mataji. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Sindhu Mataji, please go ahead with your question, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Can you hear me, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. I had one realization, but before that, what you said is the listener's capacity. I don't agree with that, Mataji. According to Bhagavatam, Shrota and Vakta both need to be like our Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. It depends on both. The sync happens only when both are in that line, right? So Shrota has to be, very good, and you are that, Mataji. Like what Mataji was saying, sometimes people like us, at least like me, who are in ignorance, it's very difficult unless we understand, and that understanding and that clarity you have in your presentation, and that's what attracts people. So you're a very good preacher, excellent PPTs, valid examples, and your katha is amazing. Your katha of getting that Purana, this Purana. I can't even remember the names. That many Puranas you come back with. So thank you so much. And yes, Mataji, one question or realization, or I've been having this question. See, in Bhagavad Gita, Mataji, we have Swadharma and Nitya Dharma. As I kept reading, Swadharma means it is the nature or the Swabhava. That's what we understand. The Swabhava of the Atma. Nitya Dharma is what we do the bhakti to Adokshaja. That's what we understand. So this bhakti process is one which makes your Swadharma your Nitya Dharma. Slowly, see, when we started off in Krishna consciousness, right, we used to give maybe 15 minutes, 30 minutes in a day. Then we started joining Bhakti Sanga group. Then we started giving at least 1 hour of Bhagavatam, 1 hour of Chaitanya Charitamrita, right? Slowly, the balance so happens that the Swadharma, where we were just wasting our time, is converted into Nitya Dharma. And the person who has that Swadharma balance equal to or greater than, or it becomes same. See, what happens is over a period of time, there is no Swadharma left. There's only Nitya Dharma, right? And that is Paro Bhakti. When I studied the first time what Swadharma and Nitya Dharma, it didn't flash to me. Slowly, when I started attending Bhakti Sanga group, right, that's when I realized, the more you hearing, preaching, kirtan, saying a prayer to the Lord, all those times, if you start putting together, those were your Swadharma previously. Now it is becoming your Nitya Dharma, right?
Very
is that
nice.
Correct understanding,
No, it's correct. 100% correct, Mataji. 100%. 100%.
Sometimes I feel that is my imagination, so I want to clarify.
The way you're telling is perfect. Yes.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so much. Wonderful class. And if possible, please share your PPT, because I was working and I was trying to listen halfway through. So, yeah, and I will definitely go back to the recording. Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Sindhu Mataji, for those beautiful inputs.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Prahlanand Prabhuji, please go ahead with your question, Prabhuji.
Mataji, I don't have a question, but a little reflection regarding Susilpa Mataji's question. How to balance, our bhakti with our, regular job, and this way. This is quoted by Rushabdev Maharaj, in the 5th canto, 5th chapter, 3rd sloka. He says very clearly that Yeva Mai se Kruta Saurudartha. Those who have try to develop friendship with me. Rushabdev Maharaj telling his Bharat Maharaj and his son. Yeva Mai se Kruta Saurudartha Jane Sudeham Bharvati Kesu. How does he behave with people in general who are Deham Bharvati Kesu, who are busy with feeding their stomach? That's one category, how he behaves with them. And then second, he says Gruhesu. Gruhesu, how does he behave with Gruhesu? Who is Gruhe at home? At home is the wife, children, money, and all this. Am I audible, Mata?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what he says. Gruhesu deham bharvati, janesu deham bharvati, gruhesu jarati masu, na priti yukta yavad arthascha loke. Na priti yukta means he is not attached so much to his wife, children, money, and other people like that. But yavad arthascha loke, as much as required. And you are all mothers, so you know how much salt you put in cooking dal. So that kind of thing he is trying to explain like that. And this is what is practical,
Yes.
I have to do my professional life and I have to do bhakti also, that, I cannot just leave. Bhagavan Krishna also tells Arjuna that, you do your duty as a Kshatriya. So as we have to do, but the art of balancing this it comes with kind of bhakti, and Bhagavan Krishna is Matta Smriti Jnana Pohanam. He is going to help us with his Prabhupada's purpose and others. So I just wanted to little add like that. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I think
Very
that completes the answer. Yeah. That completes the answer also. Yes, we continue to do our duties. Don't be too attached, because this attachment was not going to take us anywhere. Just keep doing it without attachment, but keep the attachment to Krishna. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Mataji, in the messages in the chart, everyone is glorifying, and some of the. You want to read me, Mataji? Do you have time?
Yeah, I have all the time, but I'm just going. I'll read. I'll read it.
Okay, Mataji.
It's I will read it, and just give me 2 minutes. I will read, and I thank you everybody for the comments and the realizations that you all have. Thank you all so much. Jyoti Mataji has also shared her realization. All of you have written beautiful comments. Thank you. Thank you, Matajis and Prabhujis. Thank you all so much. And I'm so grateful I could see all of you today. All the stalwart devotees in Bhakti Sangha, the morning devotees, the great disciples of Srila Prabhupada, Lalita Mataji, Dinavanda Prabhu, all of you, all the devotees that we see every day morning. My dear friends, thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Such a wonderful class and a very enlightening class today. We are very grateful to you, and we look forward to your association again and again. Let's pay our obeisance to Mataji.
Vilasini Mataji.
Preethi Vilasini Matajji ki jai. Thank you so much,
Jai.
Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Radhe.
Krishna.
Thank you,
Gauranga
Mataji.
Nanda.